Chapter, first canto, chapter 16, text 35, how Pariksit received the age of Kali, text number 35, translation and Prabhupada by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada. Who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from that Supreme Personality of Godhead? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama by his sweet smile of love, pleasing glance and heartly appeals. When he traversed my earth's surface, I would be immersed in the dust of his lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass which appeared like hair standing on me out of pleasure. Srila Prabhupada's purport. There were many chances of separation between the Lord and his thousands of queens because of the Lord's being absent from home. But as far as his connection with the earth was concerned, the Lord would traverse the earth with his lotus feet, and therefore there was no chance of separation. When the Lord left the surface of the earth to return to his spiritual abode, the earth's feelings of separation were therefore more acute. I'll finish off this last translation, then there's a new chapter beginning. Punishment and reward in the age of Kali, which is starting from tomorrow. I'll just finish off the text 36. Tayo enam kataya tuyo tayo evam kataya to Prithvi dharmasya tada pariksit nama rajesya papatya pachinam saraswaranim. While the earth and the personality of religion were thus engaged in conversation, the saintly King Pariksit reached the shore of the Saraswati river, which flowed towards the east. Thus ends the Bhaktivinoda purpose to the first canto of 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled How the Pariksit Received the Age of Kali. Okay. Narayan namaskrittaya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayat mudirayat nasta presu bhadresu nityam bhagavati sevayam bhagavati uttama sloke bhakti bhavati naistaki. So, for those who are advancing Krishna consciousness, separation of the Lord actually brings them closer to the Lord. And we see in the example of the 6 Goswamis, they were always praying for meeting of Radha and Krishna, but they were in a mood of separation. And it's explained that in those times in Vrindavan, when they were 500 years back, when they were living there, Vrindavan wasn't as it is there now. It was more simple. I think in the time of 6 Goswamis, they weren't like 5,000 temples manifest. Very simple. And it says they were living under different trees, the Kalpavriksha trees. And all their desires to serve Krishna will be fulfilled just living under those Kalpavriksha trees. It says to sit under a Kalpavriksha tree, you have to be free from all kinds of material desires. And your desire only should be to serve Krishna. There's a story, Dinabandhu Prabhu tells how one atheist came to Vrindavan, and he asked about these Kalpavriksha trees. And in Vrindavan they pointed them, some presidents pointed out the Kalpavriksha trees. And he went under the trees, and he tried to be the center, so he thought, let me have some nice food. So pakoras, sabji, rice, dal, all these. It was just appearing to him. And it was getting dark at some point, and he started to get frightened. So then he's thinking, a tiger or a lion will come and eat me up. And a lion or a tiger came and ate him up. So, sitting under a couple of vriksha trees, there's some qualifications have to be there. You have to be from all material desires, and you have to be in a line of pure devotional service. There was one pastime I read in the glories of Vrindavan, the saints of Raja, the stories about Vrindavan, the saints who achieve perfection in Vrindavan. And there was one devotee, he was doing intense chanting of the holy name. And he was detached like Gorkishore Das Babuji Maharaj. He had no attachments to the external so much. But he was completely absorbed in holy name. And he had no possessions himself, he was completely detached, living very simply like this. And he was sitting under some couple of vriksha trees just chanting the holy name. And one of the trees told the other ones, why are you not providing him facility, you should provide him shelter. All of a sudden, peacocks started coming around him and sheltered him. And then somehow they got Krishna's vision. So, this is on the level of Ragunuga Bhakti. I read that in a Jeva Dharma, it also mentions that point in text 23, it mentions this point about there's Vaidhi Bhakti and Ragunuga Bhakti. So in the line of Ragunuga Bhakti, not many rules and regulations are required in terms of spontaneous devotional service. The only thing required is that one should pray for mercy of the holy name and beg for offenses, beg for forgiveness for offenses. And we can see, even in our line of the Acharyas, they did that kind of bhajan. Like Prabhupada did that for some time in Vrindavan, where he did intense chanting. Bhaktivinoda Thakur did that to set the line of purity. So, but then for spreading the worldwide mission of Krishna consciousness, because you're dealing with people who are new to Krishna consciousness, they have to be trained up in the line of what the scriptures are, how to avoid offenses to the holy name, and respecting devotees on different levels. This has to be there. Then eventually by this process of practicing Krishna consciousness, following this process of Krishna consciousness, at some point one can come to the level of firm faith. And when one gets this firm faith, that's Nishtha stage, then chanting of the holy name becomes very easy. Before that, the stage of Anartha Nivritti is there. And but even in the Anartha Nivritti stage, if one seriously chants the holy name, then the stage of Nishtha will come very quickly. So, and in the Krishna book, Prabhupada also emphasizes on this point how even though we cannot have reciprocation of Krishna personally, physically present, but if we cultivate this mood of separation like the gopis did, or Raja Vrindavan did I think that is hardly for 100 years, Krishna left Vrindavan. He went to Dwarka, Mathura to do his pastimes, where he killed many demons. So physically he wasn't present in Vrindavan for 100 years. So they were in a mood of separation. And in between all that time, when Krishna was away, he used to send different devotees to help the residents of Vrindavan carry on in their life. At some point he sent Uddhava, then he sent Balaram, and then in Gopal Champra explains on a more detailed account how different messengers used to come and go from Vrindavan to other places, and they used to bring my message about Krishna's pastimes in different places like Mathura and Dwarka and like that. And they used to hear all these pastimes what Krishna is doing. And Krishna used to arrange all these horses which used to go like 400 miles an hour to go back and forth to give messages to the residents of Vrindavan, how these pastimes are going on. But there's one level of qualification which is required to enter these pastimes of separation, and to understand how, and to bring Krishna closer to us, is that we should not take these stories in the Srimad Bhagavatam or description in the Srimad Bhagavatam just to be stories. If we take them like a story form, then it'll just remain a story form. We have to enter deep into the pastime by meditating on it. And through this meditation, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai. Through this meditation, then we will feel Krishna's reciprocation with us. So there's an account on how it says about Mother Earth feeling separation from the Lord, but actually she's feeling separation because when Krishna was present, there was all opulence manifest. And when Krishna left, then the age of Kali entered. So Mother Earth, being a pure devotee of the Lord, she's a pure devotee of the Lord, she doesn't like when the demons start abusing her and not serving the Lord. So in that sense she felt separation. But on a higher level, it's explained that in the higher realms, like there's earth, water, fire, air, ether. So it says Lord Varaha Dev is worshipped on one of the planes of these elements. These elements are there from the earth going onwards. So Mother Earth is serving Lord Varaha there. He's the source of all yagyas, Lord Varaha. And also, the other unique thing is like Krishna's pastimes are eternally going on, like an eternal roadshow. Like example is given, like 6:30 in the morning is gone, but you can't say that 6:30 in the morning doesn't exist somewhere else. It's always happening somewhere. Or the example of the sun is always rising somewhere, it's never disappeared. So in the same way, Krishna's pastimes are eternally going on. And so in the same way, Mother Earth, she assists Krishna in the pastimes. Like in Krishna's pastimes, she appeared as Satyabhama. Like Naraksura or Bhamasura, he was born from the earth personified. Like when Lord Varaha lifted the earth, from that union with the Lord Varaha, earth gave birth to a son. He was Bhaumasura or Naraksura. And but then he took bad association, then he became a demon. So Mother Earth took a vow that my son cannot be killed without my permission. She used some vow was there like that. So this is why Satyabhama, Krishna took Satyabhama when he was going to kill Bhaumasura. So first Indra came to Bhaumasura to complain that this Bhaumasura has taken my Parvat mountain, half of it is gone. He's taken the earrings of Aditi away. He's causing disturbance to the demigods. So then in that way Krishna took Satyabhama and he took her permission before he killed Bhaumasura. So from this lesson we can also learn that one can be part of Krishna's family or be a devotee of the Lord, but if he goes against Krishna, like the Bhaumasura was a son of Krishna, Krishna killed him. So in that sense, Krishna has no favorites. He's equal to everyone. His mercy goes to everyone. It's how open we are for the mercy. This is the question. So there's another account on how before Lord Krishna left the planet, Mother Ganges, representing all the holy rivers, she came to see Lord Krishna. And she asked Lord Krishna, that's what's going to be our situation now you're leaving the planet? The age of Kali is going to enter, and all these sinful people are going to bathe in our rivers, they're going to contaminate us. So Lord Krishna assured her that in the near future my Senapati Bhakta will come, and he will create many Hari Bhaktas, and they'll purify your rivers. Then he also assured Mother Ganges that after the 10,000 years of the period of the age of Kali is gone, then you can enter the 100 meters under the ground. The scientists have found out that the Saraswati is already gone on 100 meters under the ground already. So even in many places the Ganges have also disappeared now. It's explained that before Lord Krishna's appearance, the Ganges was more glorious. It was more glorious than Lord Krishna's appearance before Lord Krishna appeared. But after Lord Krishna's appearance, the Krishna's glories are more glorious than the mother of the Ganges, than the river Ganges. This is given in a Krishna book. Because it's in the Bhagavad Gita is explained how the Ganges you can only get benefit after bathing in it after many times. But the Bhagavad Gita, by reading it, you're bathing in the words of Krishna, which is like the Ganges. So you get immediate benefit. And what to say about coming in touch with the advanced devotees? So we can see how Srila Prabhupada explained in one of his lectures that if we are eager to see Krishna, He's everywhere. Like when we taste water, no one can drink seawater, but He's taking the sweet taste of the water. And the rising of the sun, the fire of digestion in our body, without fire we cannot do anything. The heat in the fire is Krishna. So in that way we can learn to see Krishna everywhere, if we are eager to see Krishna. But the point is, people are not open to see Krishna. People want the kingdom of God without God. That's the problem in modern day society. So this is why there is so much disturbance everywhere, because people are, even in a circle of scientists, they say that in our meetings, the name of God should not be brought up. So they say, it just shows you how people are not accepting the God's laws. That's the modern defect of modern society also, how they ignore God's laws and they promote man-made laws. So that's where the degradation comes in. Like in India, when I was there some time back, a law came out like one should not disrespect any demigods in name, like you shouldn't disrespect them. So you can see India has, Prabhupada is a land of piety, Punya Bhumi. Now there's this new girl, this Narendra Modi, he's trying to stop cow killing. He's trying to, I think in Gujarat, they're protecting cows and like that. But the Prabhupada gives a comparison to a government and there's a letter. Let's see. Okay. Okay. In old days, even a politician, Brahmana like Chanakapani would say that Vidvatma cha vimut cha nevam tulyaya kadachana swadascha pujata rajo vidyava savata pujato. A really cultured fellow is far above a politician, because a politician is honored by votes of his countrymen, while a cultured and learned fellow is honored everywhere, all over the world. So we say that Rabindranath and Gandhi were never dependent for votes of their countrymen, but they were honored all over the world for their cultured contribution. The same Chanaka Pandit defined the standard of learning. The standard of learning had to be testified by results and not by manner of university degrees. He said that one who looks upon all women except one's married wife as mother, all wealth as the pebbles on the street, and all living beings as one's own self, he is really learned fellow. So we can see the cultural aspect is important in spiritual life. That by imbibing this culture, giving respect according to the level of spiritual advancement, he says there's 3 levels of seniority. There is a person who's old in age, someone who's initiated, and then third one is someone who's advanced. Like Sukadeva Goswami, he was only 16 years old, but when he came in on the scene, everyone stood up to greet him. Any comments or questions?
Really, it's just a reflection of what Mahaprabhu has brought us, isn't it? This separation, and it's something that is the goal of a devotee's life, is to experience this feeling of separation, because we don't always, well, let's put it this way, the separation of feeling is usually there when you have a relationship. So we've got to build a relationship first to get this feeling of wanting to be with Krishna and get to know him first, and then we want to be with him. So it's a sort of a, like you were saying about Vaidhi and Raganuga. These people are on Raganuga. It's a different level of thing, but basically our practice under Prabhupada is Vaidhi Bhakti. Via the holy name. And the holy name is the thing that will give us purification and attachment for Krishna. But it's a process. It seems like for the end till the end of our lives. Every day is a test. It seems so. And I think in a way it's to make us come closer to Krishna. All our difficulties and all this sort of thing, that makes us depend on him as time goes by. So this verse is just a reflection of this separation we've got to achieve somehow by getting to know Krishna better. I think that's just a comment, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prabhu's got a question.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a nice class. It's interesting how the purport, Mother Earth is feeling that separation. She says that the separation was therefore more acute in that the association of Krishna, the Lord, with her was all the time. Wherever he went, he was associated with her. It's also interesting that how in the material world that when we have continuous association with anyone, sometimes this familiarity creeps in, and we sometimes can look at the negative side of that personality, which is material relationships and the nature of material relationships. Is how interesting it is that a pure devotee like Mother Earth or the personality and their relationship is so transcendental and conscious that they never feel that contempt or that need for any complaint. It's nice that that relationship can be built. And so similarly, I'm thinking that if we are able to therefore develop lasting relationships within this material world, then maybe we can qualify for developing that relationship with Krishna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Devan Mitra Maharaj, he explained that he gave the example. He said to his household disciples, he said, if you don't give time to your wife, or you don't give time to how will the relationship go on, It won't go on. So in the same way, we have to give time to Krishna. And Prabhupada comments in the 7th chapter in the beginning, he said this material affection will be cut off by the hearing and chanting of Krishna. In time it will, because the body is a machine, the body we have is a machine. And as the body gets older, it gets weaker and weaker. So, but if someone's on the spiritual path, then his spiritual understanding will go deeper and deeper. And he won't bother with the material things so much. In time, it will be less important for him. I had an instance with one devotee. We preached in Leicester many years back. He became initiated by Krishnadas Swami. His name was Lila Avatar. And he was doing 32 rounds a day. He was preaching. But although he didn't move into the temple, he was preaching from his house and working and everything. But you could see he was fixed in his hearing and chanting. And I heard a story where he was planning to take sannyas at point, become renounced. His mother was like in her 90s or something, and she was lamenting about his separation. So it just shows you how material attachments are very strong, you know. So we have to develop this attachment to Krishna more. Then all these material attachments will disappear.
Especially between a mother and a child, that is eternal. They often say that, no matter how old the son gets, he's still a child to the mother.
Yeah. Anyone else? Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.